Today we've invited Rosalind Wick to be on the show. She is the executive director of Shelter House of Northwest Florida. Hey Rosalind, thanks for coming on the show.
Hi Whitney, how you doing?
I'm great. So tell us, how have you guys been operating during the COVID-19 crisis? There are so many things that Shelter House does for domestic violence survivors in our area. So tell us a little bit about how you guys have been operating.
Sure thing. As a 24-hour center, we have remained open the entire time. So since the very beginning of March, when this all came to our area, and our 24/7 hotline and helpline for domestic violence and sexual assault continue to take in calls, and so that has not stopped. And in fact, it's been very busy over the last month and a half. We've taken over 350 crisis calls just since March. And so even though, people were quarantined and things were happening, we have still remained very, very busy. We, of course, as you know, also have our emergency shelter, and that has remained open as well. We have had to limit the capacity slightly. We usually have 32 beds, and we're at about 60 to 70% capacity just to observe social distancing and make sure everyone is safe. But we've remained open there as well. And then all of our other services we've continued, but we've had to get a little creative. So we've done some telephonic services, and we do Zoom and all the video conferencing, much like everyone else is doing. So we're getting creative, but we are still here for survivors.
Wow. So for the Zoom, are those like counseling sessions or?
Yes, so we've been doing Zoom counseling sessions. We're about to kick off support groups again. And also we have a team of attorneys, 2 attorneys that work strictly with injunctions for protection. They've had some record numbers, and a lot of the things they're doing are over the phone and via Zoom as well.
Wow.
They are the court for the injunction process, but they're also utilizing those tools.
That's amazing. So, and I know that all of your services are free, right? So maybe someone who couldn't afford an attorney in their own right, but maybe they've been assaulted, they can seek your help?
Absolutely. So we have 2 attorneys on staff. Like I said, they are wonderful and they are very busy. They do strictly do injunctions for protection, but it's free. It's completely confidential. As a state certified center, we are actually our survivors are protected by statute, and so everything that happens at Shelter House stays at Shelter House.
That's awesome that you guys provide that support, especially for free. I know that's really needed. So your 24/7 hotlines, would you say that the numbers have increased since COVID, or how does that, you said over 300 calls. Is that more than what you usually see, or how does that really compare?
Whenever the pandemic first started, and of course with the executive order back in April, our calls actually dropped quite a bit, and that was expected. We have statewide calls, and that was something that a lot of people were experiencing at the time. I think anytime there's a crisis, if there's a hurricane or with this pandemic, you focus on the crisis at hand, and we know that the survivors are out there. We know that DV numbers with law enforcement, have gone up, and so we know people need our help. I think at those times, though, you're prioritizing taking care of your kids, or making sure you keep your job or other things. And so our numbers have actually spiked quite a bit over the last 4 to 6 weeks. And even in the first week of July, we've already had 32 calls, crisis calls. And so we're hopeful that, people are realizing that we're still here, realizing that we're here to help, and we can, help people wherever they are in the process.
Wow. And Shelter House has been serving our area. You guys cover Okaloosa and Walton counties, right? Right. Oh yeah. My gosh, for over 30 years. So it's amazing that, there are a lot of people in the community that may not even know that you exist, though.
Exactly. You're so right. And that's why things like this are so great. I always hope that somebody listening or watching today, has never heard of us before. And now, if they need our help, either through, domestic violence situation, sexual assault, that they know who to call. And we have been, since 1985, we've been a domestic violence center, but we actually just got certified as the sexual assault center, the rape crisis center back in 2015. And so that is something that's relatively new in our community for people to realize that we are also the sexual assault center. So we've got a 24-hour rape response team that dispatches out to the hospitals anytime there's an assault in Okaloosa or Walton County. So that's a very active program as well, unfortunately, but it's good that we have it here.
Wow. And your name being Shelter House, so many people only think of Shelter House as maybe a homeless shelter or a women's shelter. But tell us a little bit about the emergency shelter. I know that's just one piece of what you guys do, but tell us about the emergency shelter. I know that recently you guys posted that you were in need of cleaning supplies.
Correct. And so we do have a crisis shelter. And so entrance into that always comes in through our hotline. So we do an assessment over the phone, and see if shelter is the right option for someone getting out of their situation. We have a kennel on site as well, and we do take the children of the survivors. So we often have just as many, if not more, kids in our shelter than we do adults. And then, dogs, cats, birds, whatever people have, that are also part of the family, bringing them in. And we do, we've been at 60 to 70% of our regular capacity at shelter, but with COVID and trying to keep everyone safe and keep things clean and, keep everyone healthy, we've been very lucky in that regard. We do need cleaning supplies, even more so than ever. I mean, anything like disinfectant wipes and also, really any kind of cleaner we will happily take. And then also paper towels and things like that, and other types of cleaning products, sponges and that kind of stuff. We are really diligent about that and making sure that, everyone is wearing a mask, making sure that we're keeping everyone as safe and healthy as possible.
Wow. Yeah, and I can only imagine you guys, I read that you provide everything. When someone's in the shelter, you literally feed, laundry detergent, dog and cat food. Like when they are there, you guys fully take care of them in every way.
Absolutely. And really anything that they need, hygiene products, in any of the things that you just listed, we take all year long. And it's really important because the resources that they have can be used to get them into a place of their own or help with whatever their kids need. We've got some really great partners in our community that, donate throughout the year, and they do food drives for us and pantry drives for us. We're of course a recipient also of United Way and Destin Charity Wine Auction Foundation. And we really couldn't do what we do for survivors without the community. And so we're always so grateful for that.
That's awesome. So grateful for what you guys do in the community. So really quick about the cleaning supplies. I know that I read that you guys don't usually take used products, but this situation might be special.
Sure. So we do not take any, used hygiene products or opened food or anything like that. And so sometimes we have people that will come stay for, a week, and they've got food that they've opened, and they, ask us if we can take that. We can't unfortunately take that. But if there are cleaning supplies that you have opened that you didn't finish, we can absolutely take those. So, sometimes people will buy a cleaning product, they don't like it necessarily, or they don't want to use it, or and we're happy to take those off your hands for sure.
Awesome. So if somebody wants to donate, how can they do that?
So our drop-off location is in Fort Walton. It's 16 Ferry Road Southeast, and we are doing a curbside drop-off. So if someone wants to drop off some stuff, they just come up to our door. We have a bell or an intercom. Can ring the intercom, push the button, and we'll come out and collect your supplies for you. So you wouldn't even have to walk into the building.
Well, Rosalind, thank you so much for coming on the show. We appreciate everything Shelter House is doing for the community. Hopefully your numbers will drop because that means things are getting better, but thank God for services like yours. So,
thank you, Whitney.